and I am joined by my co-hosts, Dixie Cochran.
Hello there.
And Eddy Webb.
Good day.
A good day to you, and a hello there to you too. And it is daytime at time of recording. You may be listening to this in the dead of night, but don't let that break your immersion. We do hope you're well, audience. It's an interesting time, and we've got an interesting show for you. We intend to conclude our Scion playthrough, which we've certainly dragged out, but not by design. It's just how these things have fit in. Let's actually start, because we've not done this for a while, and I always like to. So, Eddy, what book are you working on predominantly right now?
It's funny you should mention that. I actually just got the manuscript from you for NWE Unleashed, which is our wrestling supplement for Aberrant. And this has actually been interesting, not for the reasons that we would usually bring it up on this podcast, but it's been an interesting kind of co-dev relationship with you, because for the audience's perspective, originally I wasn't sure I was going to develop it, and then timing wise, it turns out I couldn't be the lead developer on it. So Matthew agreed to be the developer, because I was also writing a huge chunk of it, specifically the mini game system. But then Matthew took it all the way up to the approval stage and has now kicked it back to me. And now I'm actually going through and tweaking and adjusting, because there are a few things that Matthew wanted some advice and thoughts on. So it's been interesting, as opposed to most of my other co-dev relationships where it's been in sync, we've been working alongside each other, to more of a handoff kind of developer relationship. And I'm actually kind of enjoying it that way, because it gave me a chance to kind of take some space from it when you dug into it. And then now I can come back to it a little fresher and go, oh, okay, I'm noticing these things we can tie together and blah, blah, that perhaps you couldn't pull because you're in the middle of it all. So it's been actually really, really fun to do that. And also it's been fun to just kind of, even though it's a serious book and delves into some serious things like the drug use that sometimes happens in the wrestling industry, and accidents and injuries, but also it is a little cartoonish. And so it's been fun to kind of just have that break from the what can be a little serious in Trinity.
Yeah, I certainly enjoyed it, and in a way, the thing I enjoyed most was writing the lexicon at the beginning.
Yeah.
Of wrestling terms and terminology, and coming up with the example uses of swerve, of bump, and push, and nuclear things heat. Like that. Yeah, nuclear heat. Wow, Pharaoh's got nuclear heat right now after he insulted this town sports team or the like. But no, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really happy with how that book has turned out. It's only a small one, but I think it will definitely appeal to the wrestling fan, and hopefully it will engender some people who aren't into wrestling to give the RPG a go. That's the big challenge. It's one thing to try and sell an RPG, which is we always call it a niche industry all on its own, but selling a niche RPG about a niche hobby being wrestling is another challenge all on its own. But I'm sure
on the flip side, I mean, I know we've talked before about the fact that this is there's a little bit of Street Fighter role-playing game in its
definitely
DNA. So if you like fighting games, if you like MMA, if you just want an interesting little kind of dice combat system that's a little different from other things you've seen, that's very flashy but not very crunchy. There's lots of other things and also we dig into things like we actually have rules for Mox and Plus, which are two of the drugs that are mentioned in Aberrant. So there are rules for that in there, and there's a couple of new roll paths and whatnot. So there's other stuff in there that even if you aren't interested in wrestling, there's still some fun little bits in there that might be useful for an Aberrant game. So there's a lot more in there, but you're right. It is interesting to kind of dig into a small kind of chunk of the Aberrant world and give it its own little space and see what happens.
Well, and the Trinity Core world. It's an Aberrant adventure or Aberrant book, because it is set at the same time as Aberrant and includes things about Novas in there. There's an entire division of wrestlers and performers who are just average individuals made using the Trinity Core rules, using edges from Trinity. So you never know. Might be able to market it to two different audiences. What about you, Dixie? What are you working on right now?
Still plugging away at some Exalted Essence red line so I can get that back to the writers pretty soon here. Just finishing up a couple other little projects. There's like a lot of stuff that just needs to be done right now that will take like a day here and a day there. And it's all like, sometimes you get just like a wave of small things.
Yeah.
Yep.
That just kind of washes over you and you're like, oh God, what do I do with all these things? That's kind of where I've been at this week.
Do you still get that sense of satisfaction when you knock a small thing off your list?
Sometimes. It depends on how small it is. If it's like something that takes, 30 seconds, maybe not so much. Like if I'm just like, forwarding edits to somebody else, I don't really consider that like a task accomplished.
Yeah.
But when it's something like, okay, I edited this, 10K jumpstart or 8K adventure or whatever. Yeah, it's like a little dopamine hit. It's not the big one of like, here is this massive book. But it's something.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Kat Evans, one of our freelance writers, who was worked for several companies, not just ours, has turned in her final draft on Trails of Ash and Bone for Vampire the Masquerade, one of the books I'm developing. And she said, do I need to do anything else from this point? Because I think this may be the first project of ours that she's worked on. So she wasn't entirely sure of the process. And she said, yeah, do I need to do anything else from this point? And I said, well, I may need to check some maps with you and things like that, or ask you for your ideas on art notes. But otherwise, you are free. I have filed your first phase 1 pay sheet, as it were. And she said, that's excellent because I can now achieve the sense of satisfaction that comes with ticking something off of a spreadsheet. I thought, you do it too. This is clearly a ritual many of us have, to think, yes, I've done it. As soon as I can knock it off the spreadsheet, that's when it's officially done. But yeah, that's the thing that I'm on right now. All the drafts are in for Trails of Ash and Bones. That's another big scenario book for Vampire the Masquerade that largely covers Hecata and associated cults. Not restricted to the US either. There's a Copenhagen one. There's Birmingham in the UK in there. We've got Atlantic City, of course. And of course. Yes, of course. And I used a lot of inspiration from my discussion with Dixie on the subject of Atlantic City. So
it's so weird. It's such a weird place to go.
I will put you in the special thanks.
Aw, thanks. Eddy, Atlantic City is weird. It didn't used to be quite so weird, but definitely since Hurricane Sandy. A lot of the casinos there never recovered from that. Like there were a bunch of casinos that lost their gambling licenses because of trying to deal with the damage or what. Like I don't know all the history behind it, but that means that there are quite a few places that used to be casinos that are now just hotels with really big empty floors.
Oh, geez.
Some of which still have like the signage hanging up in the ceiling, but all the machines are gone.
Oh, wow.
So they make any money that they make by renting them out for like conventions and stuff. And like some are still doing okay, but a lot of them are not doing great. We were at the Showboat in Atlantic City for HLG Con a couple years ago, or like a year and a half ago. And that's like, if you like, peeked behind a random door, there was like a restaurant that was completely just disused and like clearly nobody had been in there for quite some time. But then the common areas looked like okay. But they clearly couldn't afford to keep it up as well as they would have liked to. So yeah, it was just a weird place and a weird experience. And all of Atlantic City kind of has this weird vibe of like, it tried really hard to be Vegas and it failed.
Yeah.
And all the houses and stuff that are kind of just on the outskirts, like none of the neighborhoods look nice and like well kept from what I saw. So yeah, it's just it feels like a dying city.
So to all you listeners from Atlantic City, thank you very much for tuning in.
I mean, I am sure that anybody that lives there has opinions on all of this stuff because like it does feel that way. Like there's a main drag where like some of the stores are fine and some of the hotels are fine, and then there's the stuff on the outskirts. It's just like it's a little strange. It's a weird place to be.
We've got one other scenario that's set in Florence, so that's going to be a lovely one. That's written by Joshua Allen Deitch, and he has a good mind for the historic domain and sort of incorporating the architecture into the story, and that's something I really wanted him to do with Florence, and he has achieved it, to my opinion. So in short, I'm really enjoying reading through this one. Hopefully we'll get it off to Paradox soon for approvals. And then it'll be on to the next big project. Of course, at time of recording, next big Kickstarter will be, or the next Kickstarter in general, will be They Came From Beyond the Grave.
Ooh. Woo!
Yeah. Barring misfortune, which hopefully won't occur. But that's looking lovely from the art perspective. Obviously, I already think the manuscript is great because I developed it. But the art, the art is rolling in from a lot of very talented people, and especially some of the full-page posters of 1970s-esque horror movies are fantastic. I think the majority of them we're naming after monsters from the book. So we have a poster called The Brides of Dracula. We have a poster called The Stalking Killer, and so on. And I don't know if we've got one for the devil himself in caps, but I think we should try.
The devil himself.
The devil himself.
And they're just being rendered in this gorgeous style that I can't wait for prospective backers to see.
I'm so excited about this one.
It will look different to Beneath the Sea. That, in a way, that is making me apprehensive because stylistically, all of these They Came From games and the potential for the next one that we discussed at Onyx Pathcon, which I guess we haven't really talked about on this podcast yet, Onyx Pathcon, because since we ran it, we've just been uploading episodes from Onyx Pathcon, haven't we?
I had the realization a couple days ago that was only like 2 weeks ago, and my brain exploded.
I'm old Frodo.
because it's such a weird time right now, where time is both like condensed and also feels like everything's taking forever.
Right.
And so like, I definitely had that weird moment where I was like, oh, that was a couple weeks ago. And then I was like, wait. That really was only a couple of weeks ago. It feels like it was a month and a half ago or 2 months ago or what have you.
Yeah, back when we were young. And my point was all that They Came From games are going to look stylistically different because they are each set in different decades and attached to different movie genres. Mm-hmm. And so, I've got an odd feeling about that. I like it, but it's not what we typically do with RPGs. You know, you want some commonality so that people, when they're reading it, have that sense of comfort that one book kind of leads into the other. That's not to say I don't like what is being produced. I think it all looks beautiful. I'm just going to be interested to see how it lands.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea that each They Came From book is going to reflect stylistically whatever genre it is.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a better way to go, honestly. I mean, that's just, it makes sense. Yeah. Like, if They Came From Beyond the Grave looked all green and watery, that would be weird.
Oh, yeah. Needs to be red and bloody and shadowy and dark.
Yeah, exactly. Eddy's favorite words.
I was sighing because I knew that's immediately where this was going.
Yeah, I don't know if Eddy has seen or if you were copied in on the email. I was asked to name what the backer levels would be.
Oh, yeah, I saw those.
Yeah.
I wasn't on that email.
For Beyond the Grave, one of the backer levels is if you're a retailer, of course, you can order, 5-10 copies or something.
Yeah, it's like 5 copies.
And I've opted for the name, what was it, Dark House of the Bloody Shadows or something like that.
Did you do that just to mess with Eddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like it could be a name of a 1970s horror movie, a particularly cheap one.
It is the nice intersection of both being an actually accurate thing that Matthew should put in a situation while simultaneously a stab at me.
Yeah, it's the perfect combo, really. It feels like a bad translation of an Italian horror movie. Or an Italian title for The House That Dripped Blood. Their transliteration was The Dark Shadowy House of Blood.
I can see that.
Yeah. So, not to disparage the Italians, but come on. Anyway.
I remember, like, renting bad horror movies with my dad when I was a kid, and the disappointment that would come when one just ended up being boring.
Yeah.
Because I remember renting from a video rental place. I must have been about 12, maybe a little younger. The House that Bled to Death, which is very boring. It's so boring. And then, like, it's just not, like, all the times where they're trying to build tension, it's not. It's just boring. Like, there's a scene where a pipe very slowly detaches itself from a wall and very slowly moves itself over to, like, the center of a table where a bunch of kids are having a birthday party, and then blood just starts pouring out, like really bad fake blood. But it takes so long to get to the payoff that you're just like, okay, like, I know what's gonna happen because you're showing me this pipe for, like, it felt like 10 minutes. And then it's just, it's so weird.
I have seen that film.
Oh my god!
And it's bad, right?
Yeah, I think it may just be an hour long. I think it was one of a series of short movies that were made as a compilation around that time. And yeah, it is all building up to, you keep hearing noises from the pipes in the ceiling, and it just has these long cuts to people's faces looking in consternation and confusion up at the ceiling at the clang, dong, bong, ding.
Yeah!
And it's just moving along the blank, unadorned ceiling because, of course, you're following the pipes and, of course, can't see where the noise is coming from. And then, short of the whoo sound effect of the pipe moving across, you do have children playing at a birthday party. They might be doing pass the parcel or cutting the cake. At which point,
I think it was the cake.
Yeah, Technicolor blood starts gushing forth and cuts to the mother as she screams, and I think that's pretty much the end of the movie.
So I just looked it up. It wasn't actually a movie. It was it was one episode of the Hammer House of Horror. Yes. But it was, I guess, rented as a standalone thing back in 1996 or 97 or whenever I read it. Or rented it. Read it? I don't know what I'm saying.
Could have had subtitles on.
But yeah, so that's why you only remember it as being an hour. But it was just a really boring hour. Like, I had seen bad horror movies that were at least fun to watch, and that episode of that TV show, I guess, was not fun to watch. It was very just, okay, I get it, I see what's happening.
No, it's I bought my dad, I guess, several years ago now, a DVD of Hammer House of Horror. So that's probably where I saw it, and it's odd. I remember Mike at one point, Mike Cheney, our art director, posting on Facebook that he was going through the Hammer House of Horror and thinking then, God, there was an awful lot of crap in that compilation. It's one of those series that I think a lot of people look back on with a misplaced fondness because it's got the word hammer and horror in the title, and yet they're all so cheap and there's really no payoff. There's an episode where there's a haunted tree where that has the premise of it's a haunted tree or a stone circle. A mother and daughter move to the countryside. I don't think you ever find out what happened to the husband. But they move to the countryside. They're told by locals there's something odd going on in the field near your house, so you feel like there's going to be some kind of payoff. And I think at the end, the mother goes for a walk in the stone circle or past the tree and just disappears. And that's pretty much it. It's like an M.R. James ghost story, but not very good. Because his ghost stories were those, and of course there's lots of short movies of M.R. James stories too. His stories were based around the sort of single twist where someone would be booked into a hotel. They'd hear lots of noise from the room next door, might sound like demonic chanting or just hammering on the wall or screaming or something like that. And the person from next door, theoretically, knocks on this tenant's room and says, will we keep the noise down? And the tenant says, the noise is coming from your room. And they have an argument. The aggressor goes back to their room. the noise starts up again. So they both leave their rooms. They realise a room has appeared between their two rooms. They're a bit freaked out. They don't know whether to open the door. They decide not to. They go to bed. That's the end of the story. And the room is gone. The room is gone by the morning. Now, when you're reading it, it's actually quite chilling, and because it's nice and short and punchy, it works as a short ghost story from, I guess, turn of the 20th century. 19th, 20th century. But yeah, as a movie, those kinds of things struggle to work, I find.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was looking at the Wikipedia page for Hammer House of Horror, which only had like 13 episodes, all that came out in 1980, and some of the descriptions of the episodes are pretty not interesting. Like, I'm not interested in this. Like, the Two Faces of Evil, which is one of the ones that's often packaged with The House That Bled to Death, just says, setting off on their holidays, a family give a lift to a sinister hitchhiker. After the car crashes, one man is dead and one man is injured. But which one? What?
Yeah.
Is that a mystery?
No, but it's a plot hook for an adventure.
Twist. The dead man is also injured.
Yeah, the description for The House That Bled to Death is pretty great. It's, after buying it for a good price, a couple and their young daughter move into a house that was the scene of a macabre murder. A series of terrifying events eventually force them to flee for their lives, but all is not as it seems.
It's never what it seems.
First of all, it tells you the whole plot right there. Like...
I love the description of a murder as being macabre, as if a murder could be anything less. They move into this murder. Yeah, exactly. They move into the house where a rather dull and uninspiring murder took place. Not much happens.
They use the word macabre a lot, actually, in these. I think my favorite description is just. A young woman convinced she possesses the reincarnated spirit of a murderess walks the night seeking out new victims to fill an ancient prophecy for death. Features Pierce Brosnan in one of his early screen roles.
Well, that's me sold.
So what I'm hearing is that this is basically just an adventure generator for the game from Beyond the Grave.
Well, yeah, I say, shoot low. We don't need to. We're not aiming for the stars here with stories that they came from Beyond the Grave. I'm not expecting people to walk away thinking, "Well, I just rewrote The Shining." Although certainly, if you want to, feel free. I think they'll be slightly better than the Hammer House of Horror, but really it depends on the group. And
Peter Cushing's in at least one of them, the Hammer House of Horrors.
Well, of course he is.
Yeah, I'm sure he needed some beer money, and that's not even implying he was a drunk. It's no. Although it does sound like it.
I need to buy groceries. Sure, I'll show up in this episode.
Yeah, there's a wonderful. We'll get onto. I know we never get onto the game, but we will get onto the game. There's a wonderful movie that I've referenced, I think, in the inspirational media section of They Came From Beyond the Grave, called, I think it's Deathline in the UK, and it has a different name in America.
Oh God, that annoys me so much.
And it's set on the London Underground.
It was apparently distributed as raw meat.
There you go. See, and thank you so much for looking these things up so quickly. And the general premise is, and this premise got reused about 30 years later in arguably a better movie, the name of which I forget, that there is a family of cannibals living in the London Underground. And you've got, basically when you get off the last train at a certain stop, like 1 a.m. in the morning, and there's only two of you on the platform, you can hear a voice from down the tunnel just repeating the voice that comes over the automated service on the London Underground. So it's saying, mind the doors, and beware the gap. And this is all this voice can say, because this person has been bred infantile, basically, due to the fact it's an incestuous cannibal family, the best kind.
It's always an incestuous cannibal family. Like, every piece of media that I've seen that has a cannibal family, they're always like, also this! And it's like, okay, this is... Now, all right, whatever.
What's particularly odd about that movie, and yet one of the most charming things about it, is Donald Pleasance plays one of the lead roles, and he appears in a lot of these horror movies. And there's a scene where Donald Pleasance, who is playing a bumbling detective for the Metropolitan Police, and his partner are approached by a member of the Ministry, not the Setites, just the Ministry, and in a sort of warn, keep away from the London Underground. This isn't for you to investigate. But sir, there's been several missing people. We can't just close the case on that. I'm telling you to keep away from it. And it's a single scene, and it stars Christopher Lee. And Christopher Lee is, of course, the deep-voiced Ministry man. The weird thing about the scene that he appears in, and it is only one, and it's never touched upon before or after, it just happens. And after this government warning of don't delve into the tunnels, they just delve into the tunnels.
Right.
He is clearly not on the same set as anyone else. And the fact that he is not even seeming to be referring to what has previously occurred in the movie feels like this is a scene that was cut from another film and spliced into this film, because he just speaks in very vague terms of, we know what you're doing, Inspector, and then it cuts to Donald Pleasance on the other side of this room that's dressed completely differently, and he says, but there's 7 missing people, sir, what am I supposed to do? He says, I'm telling you not to go into the tunnels. And it just goes backwards and forwards. You never see Christopher Lee with anyone else. He just stood there by a dresser with this big mustache on him. It's his mustache. He's not standing next to it with his elbow on it or anything. And then Donald Pleasance walks off, Christopher Lee walks off, and that's it. But
sorry. I have context and trivia whenever you're done.
But yeah, it's just one of those wonderful things I love about sort of that 1970s, early 1980s movies that are so damn cheap, and yet so desperate to get Cushing and Lee in them, or Price, or Pleasance, that they will just take footage from absolutely anywhere to do it. So give me your trivia. Blow away my expectations.
Well, the first bit of trivia is that the cannibal was originally supposed to be played by Marlon Brando.
Wow.
But he had to back out when his son became ill. But here's the fun piece to go on with your thing. Christopher Lee agreed to do the film for scale because he wanted to work with Donald Pleasance. Despite this, the two never share the screen together due to their large height difference. Director Gary Sherman kept them in separate shots until Lee sits down at the end of the scene so that he wouldn't have issues fitting them both into the same frame.
Wow.
Oh, well, nice of Christopher Lee to accept scale, to appear in a classic like Nightline. I'm guessing he saw this script and thought, damn it, I've got to be in it.
It's got Donald Pleasance.
And Marlon Brando, probably. I've got to make his son ill. I can't have him upstaging me. The biggest plot hole in that movie that I recall is this line of the London Underground. Well, the London Underground itself has only existed since the 19th century, and yet the level of degeneration that this incestuous cannibal family has gone through in the course of 2 generations is really quite startling. They are supposedly mutants. They have bodily changed into something inhuman because of a brother and a sister decide to have a baby and hide out in the underground, and everything else is this mutant cannibal. But I guess in the arena of cheap horror movies, that's a pretty safe bet, isn't it, for an antagonist?
I feel like there's a Florida joke in there somewhere, but I'm not quite finding it.
Poor Florida.
Poor Florida.
Anyway.
Speaking of Florida.
Speaking of Florida.
Isn't that where our game takes place?
Speaking of Florida, add a flashback to when Faye was told by her father, don't go into the tunnels.
Faye's father is Christopher Lee. This is now
playing Hades, of course. I wonder if Christopher Lee ever played Hades. He should have, shouldn't he?
Yeah, he should have.
I mean, Hades is her dad's the mortal, though.
Yeah, that's true. Although, wouldn't it be interesting?
She's a Scion of Persephone. So.
Yeah, it isn't that both of your parents are gods. So yes, Christopher Lee played Persephone, and
No, I was going to say it's not that her dad was played by Christopher Lee. Her dad actually is Christopher Lee.
Yeah, he is Christopher Lee. Yeah. He's not played by Christopher Lee. Like there's all this weird backstory about how she like secretly comes from money and doesn't really think about it and all this weird stuff. And so like she just grew up as a child of a famous actor. She just changed her last name to to avoid anyone knowing, because Lee is definitely not a common last name. Except
unless Phaedra physically resembles Christopher Lee, in which case you may want to change the surname to avoid the connotation.
It's the mustache that throws you off.
Yeah, the 7 foot tall mustache. Again, not the mustache that's 7 foot tall. I'm saying Phaedra is 7 foot tall. It's not some Civil War mustache. Anyway.
I didn't know Christopher Lee was 6'5" until I read that, and then I had to look it up.
Yeah, there's a bunch of films where they've had to put people on boxes in front of him to make anything look reasonable. Peter Cushing was tiny, I think, in comparison to him. Mm-hmm. I remember didn't he have to wear elevated boots for... No, that was it. In Star Wars, he refused to wear the boots of all the other Imperial characters because they hurt his feet too much, so he went around in slippers and refused to be shot from the knee down.
According to Wikipedia, Peter Cushing was 6 feet.
There you go. Maybe he just looked small because he was always in shot with Christopher Lee.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway, so yes, Faye and Kian had made their way into the deep, dark sewer drains of Miami, where I'm sure nothing nasty dwells.
Nope.
It's fine.
Accompanied by your lovely companion by the name of Oscar, who had, it seems, had a change of heart. He had found his heroism, it seems, and agreed to go on ahead to redeem himself because of all the times he has screwed you and other people over, despite being free from his curse. And so, having discovered that there is a giant down in these storm drains, among other things, and that your quarry, a Scion by the name of Dion, is possibly trapped down here, you decided you would go to a pawn shop and acquire anything that looked like it could possibly be of value.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did do that.
I totally forgot what all we did in the last session. Okay, I remember now. We got like a baseball bat, but also like a big urn.
You got a couple of things that you thought would be worth trading. Essentially the idea was the giant may not be all that intelligent. Certainly the giants of myth don't always operate on some higher mental plane, and they can be bought off with valuable or shiny looking trinkets. And so, if I recall, you bought yourselves an urn, a large one, and you also bought yourself a bowl marked with various, you think, Aztec runes.
Right.
If that's the correct term. And I think you also picked up some jewellery, didn't you? Some smaller accoutrements, but the urn was the big one. And that was the one you were making Oscar carry ahead of you.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else the two of you want to add before we get back in?
We had some kind of weapon.
You did pick up a baseball bat. You nearly lost it to the water, but because Kian scored a dramatic number of successes, he managed to recover it.
I did.
Did I have a weapon? Didn't I have something like a blunt instrument? Or a knife or something? I thought I had something. I forgot. I didn't write it down.
I feel like you may have, and I'm quite happy to say it was a long time ago, listeners, and I know you may be thinking, well, the episodes are right there. Why don't you listen to them? We're very busy. So I'm happy to say, for the sake of argument, that yes, using your deleted scene cinematic, you have acquired a weapon if you didn't already have one.
Now, No, I did, because I asked if there were any weapons, and then I asked if I could grab the one that looked the least decorative, the most like actual functional.
I remember now, because we're talking about the junk katanas and
the crap katanas, like all the cosplay weaponry, and like I acquired something that looked like it could actually be
the
moderately lethal. I remember that
desk katanas.
Right.
Yeah, those are not what I was grabbing.
Okay, and what had occurred is that when you entered the main chamber, where the giant laired, you found him whacking someone. It seemed strung up by this silvery white goop, like he was some kind of pinata. And this ambrosia seems to be coating most of the surfaces in here, and dripping down into the drainage runoff below. The giant, an Almops, or Almops, individual, seems to have been making some kind of nest for himself. But as soon as you arrived, Oscar decided to take the initiative, announced your presence, and held the urn aloft. And that is where we ended the last session. And
so I guess we'll just kind of see how this plays out. But I am grabbing my bat just in case.
Yeah, I'm not like wielding a sword, but it's like, strapped to my side. I'm like ready if I need to. But also I don't want to fight this giant. So
the Almops is, as we ascertained before, very large, over 15 feet tall, over closer to 20 feet, and about just as broad. Not the kind of person you're going to be able to take down with any particular ease. If you're swinging your bat at him, you'll be lucky if you hit his waist. But when he hears the voice of Oscar, he wheels around, creating a crunch and squelching sound as you think he grinds some of this ambrosia through the drainage grate beneath his feet. And you can see now, as he does so, that the ground beneath you looks like it's iron, filled with holes, like many of the crossing platforms down in the sewer. So how it's managing to stand this giant's weight, you do not know. But it creaks and grinds as he turns around. He sniffs, looks down with very small, beady eyes. He doesn't appear to have seen the two of you, but his eyes are on the urn and then they're on Oscar. What are you supposed to be? And Oscar stutters a little. I brought you this urn as an offering. We wish to retrieve our friend and wish to pay this to you as tribute. What am I supposed to do with that? You could put some of the ambrosia in it.
I'm feeling bad.
It's a one-man play
here because I am enjoying Oscar and
Oscar
Giant.
and the Giant by Roald Dahl. Okay, yeah, this isn't a big friendly giant. He looks around at the ambrosia dripping off the walls and from the ceiling. Says, "You might have a point there. Could be nice to have a large receptacle for it." He's looking the urn over as if assessing a new car on the forecourt. How much do you think it contains? I don't know. I've not measured it.
Just slap the side of it. You can fit so much ambrosia in this bad boy.
Well, let me tell you what. And I've got another 8 of these outside. Fresher ride, still wrapped. Now, do you think I could fit you in it? Why would you want to do that? And anyway, I'm far too tall. I think I could squash you down to fit into it. And then maybe roll you back out again, or throw you around if you're still breathing in there, till you turn into paste. Again, he doesn't appear to have seen you. You can see now the giant's face is largely meat, as one's face often is, but to the point that his extremities and orifices are minute. He has a small pinched mouth, a tiny little nose, and these eyes that are black beads, frankly. His ears are redundant, and yeah, for the most part, his face is just a big slab of ham.
Okay, so then while he's threatening our I use the term friend loosely,
But you did use it.
yeah, I did use it. Can I sneak around to try to get to the captured kid?
Well, there is a staircase and a gantry going around, so yeah, you could get up to his level. Bear in mind, he's hanging from the ceiling. So, yes, you could certainly give it your best shot to climb up. What I would recommend is do an athletics and dexterity roll, please.
Okay, those things I'm pretty good at.
If you have any, let's see... if you have any knacks that might assist you with this, I recommend using them at this point.
No, it's there's a knack I want to use in a moment, but that's 4 successes.
4 successes, okay. What you're able to do is keep your feet planted on the ambrosia that's lacquering the surface so that you're not going to start making the metal creak or essentially echo your footsteps through the chamber. And while it's slippery underneath you, that number of successes is more than enough to bar off any complications that make you slip and slide. So yeah, you're able to get up to the top of the gantry. You're around head height now with the giant if he was standing up straight. Right now he isn't. He is leaning forward and not being terribly respectful of Oscar's bodily space. Just sniffing at him.
One of my knacks is with a glance, which allows me to diagnose something with an alien target without a roll and any pertinent medical information. So I want to look at this kid, see if he's injured.
Yeah, the individual that's suspended from the ceiling does look injured, bruised and battered. They are alive, however. By the way their arm is twisted, you think that it's probably broken, if not dislocated.
Okay. I was looking at my knacks and I realized all of them are involved combat, so until we start a fight, I can't actually help this guy. That's...
So you could say, hey, ugly, over here.
Right. Just smack him and then go, quick, heal him.
What about you, Faye? Is there anything you want to do while the giant is intimidating Oscar?
I think I'm going to try to stay against the wall in the shadows a little bit while Kian is over checking on him, because I'm like Kian can probably get that guy down, because he is the athletic one of the two of us, and I'm just trying to keep an eye on the situation right now, in case it all goes very badly, and also looking around to see if there are any other people in there that I see that are trapped.
Thank you, Dixie. Are you edging around the room as you're staying in the shadow, or are you staying exactly where you were in the alcove of the entrance?
No, I'm edging around the room, trying to scope it out and see what's going on.
If you could make for me, in fact, I'm not going to make you make a roll. You are able to see that, yes, there is another individual who is pretty much bound to the wall at ground level. It's at the opposite end of this chamber, in a big, thick goop of gold, and you can just see a head, 2 hands, and 2 feet protruding from the ambrosia. They're presumably bound to it. It's a young man.
Oh, hey.
Could be. But you don't necessarily have a way of signaling that to Kian. Well, you could point frantically and hope he sees.
Right. Yeah, I will try to catch Kian's eye, but not catch the giant's eye. If I can get like behind the giant, or try to get over to where that person is, because if there's two people here, we should try to save both of them.
It's what heroes should do.
Clearly.
So let's see. You're sneaking now, so I'm going to ask for the same roll from you, which may not go quite as well. It's athletics, of which I know you have 0, and dexterity, please. Yeah, you got 4
dexterity,
dice.
so maybe.
I think there's also, as we've just started a new session, you've got a point of momentum as well, should you wish to use it.
Okay. I got 2 successes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to allow it. You sneak your way around the room without alerting the giant to your presence. And you're able to get as close to this goopy individual as you feel you can. The ground around him has been worn away of ambrosia, so you think that it's going to be far more difficult to actually get right next to him and not make some kind of sound.
Okay.
Kian, as we're saying, Faye is staying in the shadows. I'm just interested to know, Eddy, where do you think Kian has been looking? Do you think he is looking in the direction of where Faye would be, or do you think you're going to be keeping your eyes on the giant and Oscar and this guy hanging from the ceiling?
I feel like he's going to look to make sure they're both okay, and when she sees that she's gone from where he left her, he's going to then look around the room to try and find her.
All right, then. Let's go for, I think, to avoid any kind of panic, because after all, she's just disappeared.
Right.
Let's go for integrity and cunning, please.
Oh no. I have cunning. I have 2 dots of cunning.
This is a 6 dice roll for me, but for
Well,
Eddy.
I didn't botch.
You do have momentum if you want to use it, but likewise, if you want to fail, you can get another point of momentum here.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
It might be worthwhile.
So it's 1 die per point, right?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. That's 1 success.
Okay. You do catch sight of her then. Okay. She is on the edge of where you can't see the person that she's next to. All you see is a big goop. But you can see that she's on the other side of the room now.
Okay.
1 success, that is all you are given.
Sure. So I don't know. I mean, I see that she's there. I'm like, okay, so she's looking around too. I have a bat. I don't have anything to cut this person down with.
You don't know how tight this ambrosia is, how much give it's got if you start pulling on it. The giant speaks up again.
Okay.
I can smell something about you. Just about. I can smell goodliness and godliness on you. You're not the first to come down here that smells like that. You probably won't be the last, but you do taste better than the rest.
No, please, don't eat me. I've got this urn. The urn.
As far as I can tell, I've got you and an urn. You don't enter into deals with people like me, little one.
Look, I'm here with friends. I have backup.
God, Oscar.
Really, you don't want to be starting a fight with me. The giant stands up straight and then he looks around the room.
Oh my God, Oscar!
Well, I'm at heights, so
Yes, exactly. And you're not in shadows. You're not in any cover.
Nope.
Even with his limited sight, when he stands up, looks to the right, nothing. Looks to the left. Oh yes, he did bring back up, and there he is, right at my nose height.
How far away is he from me?
Oh, about 15 feet.
Shit. Okay. I was gonna
You could No, he's about 20.
And he's how tall again?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Data.
he's large.
Okay, he's bigger than I am.
You could, in terms of system wise, yes, he has scale on you. Now,
Right.
that doesn't mean that you're not going to be dramatically successful. If you want to try a running bat at him, but you would pretty much be diving off the gantry while you're doing it. So,
Right. That's not a plan I want to engage in just yet.
so you're going to wait and see what he does?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if he. I'm gonna definitely have the bat ready in case I need to like smack his hand or something. But otherwise, I'm also going to try to keep his attention. So it's kind of like just seeing what he does. But if he starts looking away, I'll start talking to him to try to give Faye a chance to do something.
No pressure.
Oh, great. No pressure.
This is some kind of trap from children of gods.
And he waves his hand clumsily in the direction of the gantry. You think that if he hits it, he's probably going to knock you off just from the shockwave alone. But he isn't interested in having a conversation with you.
Okay, then I'm going to try to jump on his hand.
That's a smart move. Well, it would be if you succeed. So let's see. Athletic. This could be a calamitous move. So the roll of the day apparently is athletics and dexterity, but that's what we're going to be asking for.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wow. Well, this is where Kian gets to show his heroism, apparently. This is something...
Sports.
Yeah, this is something Phaedra's
Right?
never seen before. And not that he hasn't been heroic, just this great athletic prowess. He talks about sports a lot, but he's never quite displayed it.
Well, this is definitely Kian's moment compared to my Kate Blanchett
Yes,
and
that's true.
Lord of the Rings
Yes,
moment
true,
from last
true.
time. So
So yeah, you leap quite successfully onto the hair of his forearm. You leapt a little farther than maybe you even intended, but that allows you to gain a purchase, and now he's trying to shake you off. But damn it, that many successes, you're dug in like an Alabama tick, as they say.
Okay, so if I'm on his arm
Yeah.
with my dots of medicine, can I deduce a pressure point to knock him unconscious?
On his arm?
Well, like sometimes like under in the armpit. There's sometimes.
Yes, that's true. If you want to crawl into the Almop's armpit,
Things I do for this party.
I will allow it. That is a fantastic idea. So yeah, sure. I'm not even going to make... I think that's such an inspired idea. I'm not going to make you roll your medicine for it.
Cool.
But I am going to make you roll, once again, your athletics... No, this time your close combat and your dexterity, because you are essentially trying to hold on, grapple your way into his armpit, and
That's fair.
push that pressure point in that rancid den.
oh no.
3.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to make a contested roll, of course.
Okay.
Because he is trying to swing you off. So let's see how many successes you end up with after this. Okay. I'm using an electronic dice roller, and I'm too lazy to edit in sound effects. So... Oh, thank you very much.
Just
Yeah.
roll
Clatter,
some bars
clatter.
for you. There you go.
You are left. You are left with a. You are left with a weak and yet decisive single success. And so, yeah, it's a close run thing as you swing and barely hold on with your fingertips. First to the crook of this giant's elbow, then to his bicep, and then you scuttle round like a bug on him and find yourself, buried inside his armpit. The giant doesn't know what you're trying to do, honestly. He's just quite concerned at this point that you're even doing it. And yeah, then you use all that medical knowledge. So I'm going to quickly cast to Dixie. Faye, are you going to allow Kian to do whatever he's going to do? Are you going to attempt anything while he's doing it? Because I'm still going to make him roll to see whether this is successful. Yes, there is a pressure point. That doesn't mean he's going to hit it. So you see what Kian has just done. You don't necessarily know why. And Oscar is still standing there tentatively with an urn, looking like he
and I'm still behind the giant. He hasn't seen me?
That is quite correct. He has not seen you. He stepped back a little way, almost bumping into you, but he's completely unaware of your presence.
Wonder.
He is distracted.
Should I try to, cut his Achilles tendon? That's very painful, but it would bring him down.
You could. It definitely would, and it would also alert him to your presence. So it's whatever you consider most important. Staying hidden, doing whatever you need to.
I think actually while he's distracted, I'm going to try to keep an eye on what's going on, but I'm going to try to free this kid while he's distracted right now. Because, if nothing else, I'm hoping we can, make a run for it if we can't bring him down.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, I'm going to ask you to do a, let's see, I think close combat and dexterity to quickly cut through all of this ambrosia, if you could. It has a certain amount of resistance.
I figure it's like gross spider webs and horror movies and stuff.
Very
3
much
successes.
So. 3 successes, okay. You are able to cut through it. Excellent rolling today. And yeah, you managed to cut through it. He is in a state of... Well, he's in a bit of a daze, but he acknowledges that you're there. You wouldn't be carrying dead weight. You do have the opportunity now to essentially loop your arm around him and make your way to the exit.
Yes.
But Kian is, of course... nestled in the giant's armpit for some reason.
I'm not going to breathe for a week.
No, and I hope you wash for a week intensely.
Right.
Nothing but
I am
being
going
in
to
the
try,
shower.
once he's kind of looking at me, I'm going to, hold my finger to my lips, in a be quiet kind of way, but also just whisper Dion. Try to see if it's him. Okay.
He nods lazily as if drunk.
So yes, I will start trying to make my way as quietly as possible back to the entrance with him.
Okay. All right. And Oscar, seeing that you have got someone, throws the urn at the giant because screw this. He gives you a big smile and a thumbs up now that the urn isn't in his hand.
Oh my god. I was hoping to use him to get the kid out, but so I could help Kian. But alright, asshole.
To be fair, Oscar has one skill, which is running away, and he's good at it.
No, he has another skill, and that's pissing people off.
That's true.
You are doing him a disservice, sir.
I don't want to diminish his many accomplishments.
So back to Kian. Now is the time. Now I'm going to be generous and say that medicine is a skill you can use for this.
Oh, thank God.
After all, this is less to do with combat and more to do with nerve endings.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go for medicine. And which attribute do you want to pair with it? And I'm not going to accept presence or composure.
Well, there goes that fun.
You charm him to sleep.
Intellect? Knowledge of the system.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, good, because I have
Yay!
9 dots in total of that. So
I hope this is a roll where you fail. Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Woo!
Okay. It's not actually easy, given, again, there is a certain level of scale involved here.
Oh, sure.
You're not just gently prodding the thin membrane of a weak creature. You're essentially jamming your baseball bat into the nerve cluster in this creature's armpit, hoping that you do so hard enough to make him fall over. So,
right, but I mean, with my successes, I can buy off the scale, and also I get some enhancement from the bat. So, I mean, between all that, I should be able to.
Exactly. So, all tension aside, I'm going to make one more roll to resist to see whether he's essentially able to squeeze you out of his armpit by bringing his arm down to his the side of his chest.
There's a funny noise, a funny horn sound.
Oh God! How did we bring it into this episode?
It will always be with us. They are our farty horns now.
Just like the smell of his armpit.
Well, I was looking for a botch, and unfortunately it came from me. Somehow he misses his own ribcage with his arm, and flails in the opposite direction, I guess. No,
maybe he's so surprised he actually jerks his arm up.
Yeah, he could be scratching his head thinking, what the hell is this godling doing? Once he's finished, I'll pick him out and kill him. But either way, you have free reign to just ram the baseball bat into his armpit, as one does.
That's what you expect to say today, I'm sure.
No, usually once a month, and I'd already done one this month. And it's only the 1st of July. So, yeah, you can't see the giant's eyes from inside where you are, but they do go cross-eyed. And he crumples. In fact, I think it's more dramatic that he doesn't crumple. He just collapses. Like a tree in the forest. And that means we need a little bit of speed from Faye, please. Given that you are towing along a drunken Scion. So there's a complication here. And I would like... Hell, why not? Another athletics and dexterity, please. You do have a point of momentum if you want to use it.
Attention.
Oh my God! I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was muted for a second there. I got.
That was excellent tension, though. So well done. Good
two successes
use
on
of
the
mute.
roll.
You buy off. I assume you're buying off the complication of being able to pull Dion to safety as well, and not just yourself. Okay. So you still have one success, which means you are successful. In this game, a success is a success. Complications just make things more complicated. But you buy off that success, which means you save not only yourself, but also the Scion you came in here for, and avoid the Almop's head from crushing.
What a beautifully cinematic moment. The giant just comes crashing down. Yeah.
It is. And Kian rolling out of his armpit like some kind of... I don't know. I don't even want to consider one.
Like some kind of thing.
Now, what I'm going to do is say one more of these rolls, please. Kian, medicine, and... I'm going to make it medicine and intellect again. And okay. I'll tell you afterwards what it does.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
Mystery rolls.
3, 4, 4.
4, okay. So you effectively have 4 turns to get back up onto the gantry and unhook that other person before he starts waking up.
Okay.
He's not going to stand bolt upright if his physiology is anything like a normal human, but he will start getting up again in about 4 turns. So you have to hop foot it.
Okay. To make sure I make another Dex and Athletics to get up there?
Can I help in any way? Like, can I give him my sword so he can cut through the thing easily?
Definitely. For, again, dramatic purposes, I don't think you need to roll for that. If you want to heroically throw him your sword, he can grab it by the hand.
It goes right through his neck. Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, Phaedra, why?
Yeah, I know that, Kian's definitely going to try to save the other person because that's what Kian does, and that's what we do. So I'm like, here, take this.
Right.
I'm trying to get Dion out.
Yeah. Okay, that's lovely. You throw the sword, Kian. You catch it.
Okay.
Faye, you only think afterwards. Probably you're not going to want that sword back because of where he's been. But yeah, let's do your athletics and dexterity. Might be the final roll. Let's see how well you do.
It's the final roll. 1, 2, 2.
Okay, so I'm equating those successes to 2 things. We had 4 turns before the giant starts waking. You managed to get up there in 2 turns, and that means essentially you have another 2 turns to get back down. In fact, there is going to be one more roll. No, in fact, again, dramatic license. I'm going to allow you to sever that ambrosia with the sword in one fell swoop, but it's not terribly heroic to be hacking at it going, come on, while the giant is, please, no. Why didn't we bring a chainsaw?
Just crying and hacking an ambrosia. Yeah.
No, you sever it in one fell swoop. And as you are carrying this, it turns out it's a young woman. As you're carrying this young woman back down the stairs, you can see the Almops is climbing back to his feet, trying to shake off the groggy feeling of having just hit the ground face first.
Go.
We're going to book it.
Okay, you don't know where Oscar went. You've lost sight of him entirely,
fuck that guy.
And it may not be your... Yeah, exactly. It may not be your priority as an enraged giant bellows multiple times, I am Almops, son of Poseidon! Ah! Son of Hele! Son of Poseidon! And you can hear things smashing and tearing and iron gantries crashing and then brickwork falling. As the 4 of you, the 2 of you and the 2 dazed individuals you make your way out at speed. Thankfully, because of the ruckus that the Almops is causing, the great sea serpents that were living in the drains are thinking, you know what, fuck this. But we're not. This isn't an incitement to start feeding. This is an incitement to hide in our holes. So they don't lash out at you as you run by. The waters are relatively still, and you pour out of the drainage entrance in a far less heroic way than you went in. And yet, with the person you went in
and 1 extra.
to save. The only person missing. Yeah, and 1 extra. How about that? Bonus XP. The only person you don't manage to save, or at least you don't know where he is Oscar. No sight of him to be found.
I feel like if we keep playing this game, he's just going to turn up like a bad penny every freaking few hours.
Yeah.
Oh, probably. But only at crucial, inconvenient moments.
Right. Because
so epilogue then. What do you do now that you have Dion with you? And this other individual, a young woman by the name of Julia, who just happened to, unfortunately, be taking a walk up Miami Beach, at which point she recounts to you that a strange guy sitting at a drainage entrance said there was a party going on in the storm drain.
So, why do you listen to guys at sewer entrances?
I was already drunk at the time, and I could hear noise going on in there. It isn't the strangest place to have a party in Miami.
I actually can't argue with that.
But yeah, she's happy to say thank you and go on her way.
I figured get her to a cab or whatever. Yeah. Then burn all my clothes.
Yeah, probably call our contact and say that we have Dion. I always forget her name. What's her name?
Dietrich.
Right. So we should probably call her and be like, hey, so we got him. There's still a giant in there. He's pissed off. But we got Dion out.
And also, he's the child of Scion, or Poseidon too, so there's some family drama going on.
I obviously can't speak for my father or why he might install a guardian like that in a storm drain, or whether indeed he did decide to do that, or whether this Almops was just proclaiming his divine heritage because he thought it sounded intimidating. I don't know. But I'll make sure that the question goes up the right channels in case he poses any threat outside of his small domain. I'll make sure everyone who needs to know doesn't go anywhere near that sewer entrance anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably a good plan.
Yeah. And she, of course, meets up with you to retrieve Dion. They have a big hug, and there's a couple of brief emotional moments before she starts getting angry at him and saying, why are you running around with tattoo lizards and entering storm drains? And he's sorry, but he's young. He hasn't ever had any guidance, really. And the rest, before she puts him in the car and says, we'll be having a proper talk when we get back to the hotel. But I'm glad you're back.
Yay.
And she is with the two of you and says, I think this is probably the right time for the two of you to make the next step on your journey. I mean, it's not for me to make that decision, but it feels like that time is approaching. You've been among the rank and file punching up for quite a while now, and I think the two of you are heroes. You didn't just save one of ours, you saved one of the mortals, one of the innocents, and that goes a long way in the pantheon of the gods, no matter who you are or who you're descended from. So, thank you. Feel worthy. And she looks at Kian and says, and please have a shower.
God, yes.
But you truly have done two heroic deeds, and that is not for nothing something of great import. So, congratulations. I have a feeling either myself or someone else will be in touch with you soon. If you don't feel the pull yourself to go somewhere and find something further out about yourself and your fate. How does that feel? Heroes, she says, smiling. It's good and bad, but mostly good. It's fun anyway. They're not all sewers, she says as she's getting into this.
Good. That was the first question I was going to ask. I'm done with sewers forever. No.
Yeah, and please, both of you. Oh, and yes, of course, the money I sent you, the credit card, that's yours. I'll make sure account's transferred into your name. I know you didn't do this for money, but least I can do to get you some new clothes and such like. And yes, I'll be in touch. But I currently have a Scion of Dionysus to slap about the head.
Sounds good.
Have fun with that.
And leaves the two of you at the Cabana Bar where you encounter Dietrich. First time ever giving Kian a wide berth. But again, not the worst smelling person in Miami. And that is where we shall end our adventure.
Yay!
Yeah. Zoom, the credits fade in over a bonfire and Kian just in his boxers.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, both of you, for playing Scion over a very extended
This has been
period.
fun, though.
No, it's a ton of fun.
Yeah, the only thing about the extended period was having to remember what we were doing every single time. It's like watching a TV show, 6 months between episodes. Where you're like, wait, what happened last time? Okay, I just need my previously on to roll.
Yeah. Well, luckily it was a fairly focused adventure, I suppose, in terms of characters and locations. So there wasn't too much for me to keep in mind, which is helpful given I was running it. So yeah, no, I was happy with that, and I hope the listeners have enjoyed it as well. It's shown some of what you can do with Scion. We've hopefully displayed that the system itself is very simple. Have incorporated things like knacks as and when we could, and momentum as and when we could, but largely it's been more about the characters and the universe that you're interacting with. The idea of titans and gods, and not all of them necessarily getting along at any one time. Some of it was created just by me for the sake of narrative. Things like Ambrosia, I don't believe have been written up in Scion in the way that I've written it up.
Yeah, no, it's different.
But it's just creative license, and I'm sure anyone who wishes to run Scion can do the same thing or different, and we'll have a lovely time with it. So yeah, thank you very much, both of you, again.
Thank you for running it. That was fun.
It's quite all right. So I think that's actually a good time to call our episode to a close. So Dixie, if people want to find you online, where would they go?
Most social media, I am Dixie Cyanide. Pretty easy.
And what about you, Eddy?
You can find me at pugsteady.com or pugsteady on social media.
And they can find me on MatthewDawkins.com, as Clack Click Bang on Twitter. Do tune in to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the Onyx Path, where there's often Scion games running, among many others. And with that said, many worlds.